Guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, especially if you like college football as much as I do. South Carolina, I said in my Texas A&M video, they're going to have a pretty good year. And they bring back a lot of their players. Shane Beamer is doing some really, really good things over there. This guy has had a knack for winning games he shouldn't be winning. I talked about North Carolina in the Mayo Bowl. They win that game. They beat Florida a couple of years ago when South Carolina basically had no talent. They didn't even have a set quarterback at the time. Fast forward to 2021, they beat Kentucky at Kentucky when Kentucky was ranked. They did beat Tennessee at home when Tennessee was in the top 10, top 5, and they beat top 10 Clemson. A Clemson team that South Carolina has not beaten since 2013. So it's been 9 years. And it was in Death Valley, so that made it sweeter. I think South Carolina's going to do really well. I like what Shane Beamer's doing. It's a shame I'm an Auburn fan from that standpoint because of how Shane Beamer has built that team. But I've liked Auburn since Cam Newton, and I like the way they play, so I'm going to stick with Auburn. But this ain't about Auburn. This is about South Carolina. They don't play Auburn this year, so that's good. You start your season off with North Carolina. I think the fact that South Carolina's going to have a pretty good offense, I don't think it's as good as you and North Carolina's with Drake May. But I think South Carolina has a much better defense than North Carolina. Everybody does. So that's a big win to start off the year for South Carolina. They host Furman. That's not a problem. This Georgia game has the chance to be competitive depending how Georgia shows up to play. Remember, Georgia showed up in a lot of games last year and didn't play to the best of their ability. They let some teams hang around. You might see that because it's early in the year and Georgia's going to be at home. I'm not saying they're going to take South Carolina lightly, but it's still early in the year. They might not open the whole playbook up like a lot of teams don't like to do. You know what I mean? And Shane Beamer has a knack for calling good teams on special teams, calling good plays on special teams because that's what he was at Georgia. He coached there as a special teams coach with Kirby Smart in his first year. I don't think it's going to be enough. They don't have enough firepower. Georgia should win this game. They should pull away by 17 points. I don't think it'll be ugly like last year because South Carolina's a better team than what they used to be. They're headed in the right direction, but it's not a bad thing. I think this loss will do a lot of good for South Carolina because the rest of their schedule is not exactly easy. So they lose to Georgia. They host Mississippi State. No air raid offense. No Mike Leach. Rest in peace, Mike Leach. No problem. I think they beat Mississippi State. Then they go to Tennessee. They're not beating Tennessee this year. This game is at Tennessee. This should be an amazing game because Spencer Rattler is pretty good of a quarterback if he doesn't turn the ball over. I expect him to step up a lot this year, by the way. But I do have Tennessee winning this game because it's at Tennessee, and they're going to want some payback. They got to have that game marked down as a payback game. And then they play Florida at home. They got a lot of home games this year. They got 8 of them, I think. I think they beat Florida. I already did a Florida prediction video. Florida has to go to South Carolina this time. I do think this will be a pretty good football game. But because Shane Beamer is in year 3, he's got some good things going on at South Carolina. And I don't think Billy Napier is a bad coach, but I don't think he's going to have his program the way he wants it by year 2. I mean, I think you'll see an improvement, but because Shane Beamer's in a better position to succeed right now, and because this game's in South Carolina, that'll be the difference in this game. I think South Carolina, I'm excited about the schedule, wins this game by a touchdown, maybe less. They go to Missouri. I think at this point, South Carolina's going to be playing really good football on both sides of the ball. They'll be playing fundamental football. I don't think you'll see many turnovers. They're not a heavy penalty team, so that's really good. I think they go to they go to Missouri and they win no problem. And then they go to Texas A&M. And I don't have any logical reason to pick South Carolina. It has nothing to do with last year's game. I've already done a Texas A&M prediction video of this game. I think Texas A&M will just think, well, they beat us last year. They got lucky. We're going to beat them in our own house. And I don't think that's going to be the case. I have South Carolina winning this game. I think Shane Beamer is going to have his team ready to go to beat a much, in terms of talent, a superior talented team in Texas A&M to build South Carolina's confidence and winning streak here. They host Jacksonville State. They win. They host Vanderbilt. I don't see any problem with them there. Kentucky at home. I know there was a little trash talk back and forth between the coaches, mild trash talk. I don't trust Devin Leary at Kentucky after a nasty injury like he did last year because players don't come back the same way the year after. It usually takes longer than that. I think they beat Kentucky. I think they pull away because of Kentucky's lack of offensive production I see from them this year. And then they host Clemson. I do think Clemson is the superior team. They were the superior team last year in terms of talent. Didn't matter. This game's in South Carolina. They haven't forgotten that beatdown they took 2 years ago. Shane Beamer, I know for a fact he hasn't forgotten it. Should be a pretty good game. I don't think it'll be a blowout by any means. I think South Carolina plays a cleaner game at home. And Shane Beamer is motivated to beat Clemson back-to-back years and to really earn some respect. And at this point, with a 10-win season on the line, there's a chance to go to the Sugar Bowl or any other big bowl game that South Carolina could go to. So, and improve their positioning in the East. So I think they win this game, which is why. Here's the thing. Shane Beamer has proven to be a winning coach, a successful coach, a hungry coach, and a guy that won't back down to anybody. I respect that a lot about him. After his first year, I kind of felt like he had a chance to do something special with South Carolina because, again, he's won games he shouldn't be winning. I've already named those games. But he's been recruiting really well. He's got players that want to play for him, that care to play. And, again, his team ain't backing down to nobody. They got the right attitude, the right mindset. And, really, they haven't had that many bad games under him. I think maybe the Florida game last year with Richardson playing there at home. But outside of that, they played some pretty good football. I mean, at worst, I think they could lose at Texas A&M. They could lose to Clemson. They'd be 8-4 again. That's still not bad. That's still good. I mean, you're still a winning team, and this is not exactly an easy schedule. I mean, Texas A&M on the road, Clemson at home. Florida, I think, will be better. That will be a tough game. That could be a possible loss. North Carolina's loaded on offensive talent, so I mean, Tennessee. Like I said, that Tennessee can beat them. So they should win 10 games this year.